Johnson. Dick Hanna Dealerships presents the Postgame Scoreboard Show on the Fan Sports Network. Dick Hanna, believe in nice.
Second down and 4 from the pistol. Whittington right behind Dante Moore. There's motion to the right. Give it to Whittington up the middle. Nice big hole. He's gone. Oh my gosh. Speed. 20, 10, 5. Boom.
A comprehensive recap of today's game with the players and coaches you want to hear from.
Touchdown, Oregon.
Up-to-the-minute traffic to get you home. And our game day crew of Andy Johnson, Dusty Hara, and former Ducks star Anthony Newman joining the show. Oregon Ducks football on the Fan is brought to you by Coors Light, Dick Hanna Dealerships, Philbrook Law, Zoom Care, Bellagio's Pizza, Langdon Farms Golf Club, Wilsonville Toyota, Mountaintop Metal Roofing, Victor Rico's Mexican Food, Legends Casino Hotel, Mods PDX, and Laurelhurst Market Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. The Dick Hanna Dealerships Post-Game Scoreboard Show on 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app starts now. Here's your hosts, Joe Fisher and Jordan Schultz.
The Ducks double down. Huge win for the Oregon Ducks today against the Oklahoma State Cowboys. They get the victory 69-3. This is the Dick Hanna Dealerships post-game scoreboard show. I'm Joe Fisher III. Across the glass and joining us is Jordan Schultz. Jordan, I know it's the ultimate coach cliche. Just want to get better every week. But my God, I think the Ducks actually did that, especially when you take last week's performance into the equation where they dominated Montana State. They play a Power 4 program, and they level up.
They score more points, right? No,
it's easy. Why don't they just do this every time?
Oh, so next week it'll be 79, then 89, and then, by the time they face Penn State, they'll score 100, damn it. No, it's a nice week to be a Duck fan, and hell, a nice season to be a Duck fan after watching the 69-3 beatdown over Oklahoma State today. You thought that they would, you joke about scoring more points against a Power 4 team, but you thought, okay, hopefully it looks similar to last week, against Montana State. A lot of guys get in on the action. You see a lot of the freshmen, the young guys playing in the third, fourth quarter, but frankly, it looked better than their game against Montana State. We saw more guys getting touches on the ball. We saw DeCorian Moore actually scoring touchdowns on the ground and through the air. Dante Moore, I think, further established a case as already looking not like guarantee Heisman candidate yet, but we see that Heisman sprinkling of talent. We see the ability to throw the ball. We see the offense looking so smooth out there. And we can get into the defense too, Joe, but I'm just so excited after a performance like this that's supposed to look a certain way that it did look that certain way. And honestly, like you said, above our expectations. That was a barn burner. That was a mollywhopper. I can't think of any more words to describe how much of a beatdown that was.
I'll go Jim Ross from the WWF. That was an absolute slobber knocker.
Oh, baby!
That was just a beatdown of epic proportions.
Whew.
Like, I don't remember seeing a win like this, Power 4 versus Power 4, Power 5 versus Power 5. Sure, you'll have some interconference bludgeonings that you see in the SEC over the last few, but I mean, 69-3. I had Oklahoma State at least scoring 24. My prediction was 51-24. That's what I put it at.
What was the spread? 27.5?
27, 28.5. Depends on
double.
Depends on where when you got it. This 66 points. You kidding me?
Yeah, thanks for giving me the 27.5 this morning, Joe, on Who Do You Love. Did
right.
Not need it today.
Yeah,
My goodness.
I will highlight that one green gladly for you, bud. Just an absolute dominant victory. We're going to go down to Anthony Newman, Andy Johnson, Dusty Hara, and get their reactions here soon. But you can share your reaction. You can chime in on the Dick Hanna Dealerships postgame scoreboard show. Or text line 503-864-6FAN. That's 503-864-6326. We are also on YouTube. You can chime in with your thoughts on the Ducks' huge victory on this Saturday, September 6th against Oklahoma State. It's hard to choose just like one thing to lead with, Jordan.
Yeah.
There is so many things about this game and really about these first two games that just have your jaw dropped at how consistent this team is on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Little mistakes. And again, just like I said, the cliche of getting better week to week, they did just that. But I mean, if I'm going to take one thing that I really liked out of this performance is being able to see the offense unleashed just a little bit more. You had those guys playing seemingly a little bit longer. You had a little bit more of Dante Moore stretching the ball out, going for some deep balls, deep threats. And again, I'm just seeing the consistency of the offense in another week. And then the defense, not just being consistent, but also, like I said, leveling up, doubling down by getting not just one, but 2 pick
in
sixes
a row,
back to back.
Oh my God, I don't remember that ever happening in college football.
No.
Not just the Ducks, but I'm trying to remember the last college football game or NFL game, for that matter, that I've ever seen that. That was nuts.
Yeah, I think after the first one, I was like, oh my God, this is getting really ugly. And then the second one, I'm like, that poor kid from Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Zane Flores, take him out. Unfortunately, as you heard Jerry and Jorgie here on the Fan Sports Network during the call lamenting on, Oklahoma State really doesn't have the depth at quarterback to do so. They've got a true freshman in, and they don't want to waste one of his 4 redshirt games because you can still keep your red shirt, basically. It just didn't, in the situation, down by 60, it didn't call for you putting another quarterback in, but then you did not want to see Flores in if you're Oklahoma State anymore either. He looked, especially after that second one.
Oh, that second one?
Yeah, he looked upset.
It like there was, every lineman came up to him after the play, was like patting him on the head, face mask, every person on the sideline, every coach. I was
Keep your head up, kid.
I was like, oh my God. I was like, I was fully expecting to see tears just flowing from his face at one point.
I think he was really trying not to.
My God.
Wouldn't you? You're like, I can't cry.
I would fold like a pair of twos, bud. I would be like, I'm not going back in. I don't want to play anymore.
Can we get the towel over my head, please?
I don't wanna.
Hey, on the other side of things, Oregon scored 2 touchdowns in their first 3 plays. So if you want to talk about what to lead with, I think that's a good place to start.
Starting fast. Yeah.
I mentioned DeCorian Moore, man. We saw that first big catch for him this season ended up being that, I think it was a 60 or 65-yard touchdown, kind of with that juke out move right around the 20-25. So we saw his ability to catch the big ball downfield. We saw the athleticism, and we finally saw Dante Moore able to stretch it out a bit. That huge shot down the field that we were waiting for from Dante Moore. We've been hearing about this huge arm all offseason. We got to see it finally. So I'm hoping this is the beginnings just on that connection of like a more to more, like replay that we can get going here in the PNW. Maybe more to more on Sports Center will be a thing we'll hear throughout the regular season. And
well, I would love to hear more of that.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah,
more.
No
and then, of course, Noah Whittington starting it off as well. 59 yards to the house. I mean, just desecrated Oklahoma State's front 4 up the middle. And it was pretty much from the get-go Oregon's game. And from that point, man, I think you're already looking to see, like, well, how long is Dante Moore going to be in? And then the game still stayed interesting with the defense in the second half, Joe. Good Lord.
Yeah, there's a little concern at the end of the first half that he might have had some either got bonked on the head or ankle or something like that. But
yeah, he got tackled into the ground in that run that he had for a first down. That's what happened. It didn't look great, Joe. You're right.
But he did come back in the second half there. This text across the fan text line, after the second pick six, I actually felt bad for Oklahoma State. I never thought I'd feel bad for a team, but that poor quarterback, he looked so defeated. Dude, yes, he had that dead eye look in his face, just staring off into the distance at one point on the sideline. And I'm like, oh my God. This is just punishment at this point.
If you've ever played baseball and you've committed 3 errors in an inning, which I have at this was like middle school.
I was gonna say this is starting to be a specific example here that you're sharing.
Well, no, I think everybody that's played sports at any level just that's screwed up like
I've been there.
Yeah, at a maximum level. You know that feeling where, man, you're not hearing your coaches, you're not hearing your teammates, you're just in your own head like, I can't cry.
Hearing your own heartbeat.
Exactly. And that is, I mean, we talked about it early this morning, Joe, on Sports Saturday. Man, ask Arch Manning how hard it is to go start on the road against a Big Ten opponent. And this is a kid that, he was a 3-star, I think, out of the 22 or 23 recruiting class for quarterbacks, but he's not mobile. He's kind of just a stand in the pocket guy and throw it. And they weren't expecting to revolve their offense around him. So just a hard situation for him. But once again, on the other side of things, thankfully, it's a quarterback the Ducks should stuff into the ground, and they did.
Ducks score over 20 points in the first, second, and third quarter, and then score 0 points in the fourth quarter. So they did all their scoring in the first 3 quarters.
That's fine. Get off the field without getting injured, right?
The Ducks have 631 total yards. Oklahoma State 211. And one of my biggest things for this offense coming into this game, I tweeted out right before the game that I wanted to see the balance stay consistent as well. How about this, Jordan? 312 net rushing yards, 319 net passing yards. Sounds pretty damn balanced to me.
I want to ask Anthony Newman what that does to a defense specifically, because you don't really know, what their attack is going to be on the offensive side of the things. If you're a defense facing off against Oregon, they've traditionally been a running team, but they're changing it up, Joe. Now they can make that big play. And 2 games in a row, they've had very even attack on the ground and through the air. I'm just excited to see what this can turn into. Will Stein has more weapons than we've ever seen for the offense, and I think this evening out between the run and the pass shows that.
Text in your thoughts into this game, any questions you might have, 503-864-6326. Again, that's 503-864-6326. That's 503-8646-FAN. You can jump in on the YouTube channel as well to watch us and listen to us, youtube.com/1051thefan. But yeah, let's talk to Anthony Newman, huh? Let's see what the former NFL, former Oregon Duck has to say about today's dominant performance against Oklahoma State. Again, 69-3, the Oregon Ducks. We go to Anthony Newman, but first, we got a weather and traffic update. Jordan Schultz.
Appreciate that, Joe. It's going to be a busy one today. The powers that be must not have looked at the schedule, or after they both scheduled games, the Ducks and the Beavers at 12:30 today, they just kind of figured out, well, everybody's got to deal with it, and that is exactly what's happening. I-5 northbound, pretty heavy coming out of Eugene up past the Coburg area, but then again, it's much worse when you get to Albany. Beware at least an extra 25 minutes through that stretch, and I'm sure it's going to get bad as you come towards Salem. There is a Smoky in the Salem area on I-5 North. Right now, 73 in downtown Portland. The Ducks postgame forecast calling for a low of 60. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, a high of 76.
There are no days off from saving big at your local Coastal.
Coastal Farm and Ranch.
Dick Hanna Dealerships presents the Postgame Scoreboard Show on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
Welcome back to the Dick Hanna Dealership post-game scoreboard show. I'm Joe Fisher III. Across the glass, Jordan Schultz here with me. And on the phone line right now, former Oregon Duck NFL pro Anthony Newman, live from down in Eugene. Anthony, my God, while there are so many great things about this game, what impressed you the most? I know it's going to be tough choosing just one, and hell, you'll probably go on a rant about 3, 4, 5 other things that went great. But to you, what was the most impressive part about this huge victory for the Ducks?
Well, it's crazy because I'm a defensive guy, and I love the defense and I love DBs. I play defensive back. But to watch the Oregon receivers block downfield is ridiculous. I mean, they're so good. I mean, they're getting pancakes. They're taking the DBs and putting them on their back. Are you kidding me? That doesn't happen. And as a defensive back, we always say, don't get blocked by a receiver. He's too purdy. He wants to showboat. You can't get blocked by those guys. And the Oregon receivers are unreal. They know how to block, and they love it. So that's fun to watch. And also, we're seeing explosion plays. We're seeing, maybe a 5-yard pass that the guy runs 60, or Dante Moore is throwing a 60-yard bomb. It's so fun to watch, and that's very exciting for the fans.
Anthony, first 2 games of this season, I'm actually shocked that they did this a second week in a row against Oklahoma State after doing it to Montana State. The Ducks have a very balanced offensive attack, 319 yards passing, 312 yards on the ground, and obviously now seeing it 2 weeks in a row, I think Duck fans are starting to expect that kind of attack going forward. Anthony, can you explain how that affects opponents on defense? I mean, you know better than anybody else. What does that do to a defense that has to deal with an equal attack like that?
Well, here's the problem. You go into every game as a defense and you want to say we need to stop the run and make them throw the football. But when you have a team that's well balanced and they can run and throw, they can set up the pass, they can set up the run, they can do it both. What do you defend? What do you stop? Now, obviously, you need to stop the running game, but Oregon can hurt you with the explosive play. The receivers, they can take the top off the defense. They're so fast. Dante Moore can throw bombs. So, then you need to stay back as DBs, okay, protect the deep ball. But no, wait, hey, he's running the ball. Oh, okay, let's get up in the box. Well, no, now it's play action. There goes the deep ball. So what do you do as a defense? You pray. That's all you can do. What else are you going to do? I mean, this offense is looking pretty good.
I have to now cross a question off my list, Anthony, because the question was going to be, how happy does it make you to see the blocking downfield and outside the numbers? And I think you answered that right away when I asked you your favorite part about this game. But I mean, to talk about that more, I mean, like, you've been in locker rooms, you've coached, you've played, you've seen it all. Like, how difficult as a coach and as a teammate trying to get that buy-in from everybody to make those extra effort plays, to block downfield, to do the extra things instead of, like you said, as a receiver, looking pretty or just trying to make sure that they get their reps and their catches. It's just got to be so difficult. But yes, talk about it in your experience.
Yeah, well, it's up to the coach. Now, the coach is going to demand his group of receivers, the receiver coach, hey, we got to block downfield. And the coaches can talk all they want, but they're not doing any drills during practice to get them better at blocking downfield. Well, the receiver coaches for Oregon, they must be doing drills every single day, call it EDD drills, everyday drills. They're always working on blocking downfield. Matter of fact, I'm seeing 2 tight ends, Johnson and Sadiq, blocking downfield. Mm-hmm. It's really you don't see that in any kind of football, college football, high school football, pro football, because receivers, I'm not going to say they're not tough. They are tough, okay? But they don't like blocking DBs. That's extra work. If they start blocking DBs, now they got to deal with the fight afterwards. They got to deal with, hustle and tussle. They don't want to do that. They want to run. They want to get out the way, catch the ball, celebrate, do a dance, and all that kind of stuff. when you see these guys blocking downfield, it means something to them. Talk about, they're not thinking about them, they're thinking about the team. They play the we game. It's all about us. And that's how you get, running backs just getting that extra yards down the field, because the receivers are pancaking DBs down the field 20 yards. I'm seeing stuff 20 yards down the field, a DB getting pancaked by the tight end or by another receiver. That is outstanding, and I'll tell you this will go a long way with this offense.
Let's flip to the defense, Anthony, your specialty, of course. There was a knockdown in the first half by transfer safety Dylan Thieneman. He just made it look easy. It was a ball, I think it was Flores' first ball deep downfield that it was knocked down by Thieneman. Oregon got the best safety in the nation through the transfer portal. Thieneman coming to Oregon from Purdue. Certainly something that's changed the look of their defense from last year to now. He's a very big safety, something that Oregon hasn't had in the past. What does Dylan Thieneman's presence on the defense allow Tosh, Lupo, and company to do differently this season? They just look like they're playing much easier than last year. I know they're crappier opponents, but it just looks so smooth with him.
Well, if I was an NFL scout watching that game and I just watched Dylan make that play, I'm going to say this kid can get off the hash, or he can get from the middle of the field to the sideline. He has range. And what that means is when the outside receiver is going deep and the free safety is in the middle of the field, he has to read the quarterback. The quarterback releases the ball. Can that free safety get to the sideline and help that corner out and break up the play? He did that. Coaches love that. That's range as a DB. You can get going. You can read the quarterback. You can make the play, help your corner out. He's going to be a big-time player in the NFL. Trust me. I'm just telling you right now. This kid can play at the next level. He's a smart football player. He understands his responsibility. He understands the game plan itself, and he can play. And to watch that play, that play said it all right there about him, what type of player he is. He's a true baller.
All right, Anthony, we'll let you go, man. We appreciate your time tonight. Don't have too much fun down there. You probably already had enough within the stadium.
Yeah.
Celebrating.
Yeah. I'm done. I'm tired now. I'm out of here.
Yeah, you basically put in a full 60 minutes yourself there, too.
Yes, indeed. I get so excited. I have to be quiet in the press box. I want to be loud, and you can't be loud in the press box, but I have to walk out and go to the restroom and yell a little bit and then come back at my seat and be calm. So it's fun to watch. It really is.
Well, it was a great day to be a Duck. It was a great win, 69-3. And Anthony Newman, appreciate you as always. You can catch him next week, bright and early, on the pregame show for Northwestern.
Ooh. Oh, ouch. Thank you.
Get your sleep, man. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay. Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Anthony.
Thanks, Q.
Man. It's so funny when I asked him what's the one thing that you loved about this game, and he said the blocking downfield. I had that question teed up later for him about how happy does it make you that you're seeing these blocks outside the numbers and down the field? Like the one play to De'Aaron Hill. You had Sadiq block down. You had Alex Harkey blocking a guy into the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
That's football porn right there, is what that is.
They got some strong guys, not only on the front line, but that entire offense is bought into blocking, and it's kind of insane. Once again, we're talking about things we haven't seen at Oregon before. I don't remember that ever being a thing here.
Well, talking about surprising and not seeing things before, I do want to ask Dusty Hara a specific question about this game, and that's who we will go to next here on the Dick Hanna Dealership postgame scoreboard show. But first, Jordan Schultz with a traffic and weather update.
Appreciate you, Joe. Yeah, it's a heavy one. I-5 northbound. We had two games, both in Eugene and Corvallis, for the Ducks and Beavers starting at 12:30 earlier this afternoon. That means the drive time through Albany is a mess. At least an extra half an hour getting up past that point if you're coming from Eugene. Do see a smoky I-5 northbound in Albany as well. And then actually one just south of that in the Brownsville area. So just pack your patience coming up I-5 northbound headed to Portland today. Right now, 73 in downtown Portland. The Ducks postgame forecast calling for a low of 60. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, a high of 76.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of
inside the pile, pushes. Touchdown, Lamar! Touchdown, Ducks. Boy, it didn't look like he was going to get there. And then the offensive line said, here, let's help.
Dick Hanna Dealerships presents the Postgame Scoreboard Show on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
Welcome back to the Dick Hanna Dealerships post-game scoreboard show. I'm Joe Fisher III. Jordan Schultz with me as always. A huge win for the Oregon Ducks, 69-3. They get 631 total yards to Oklahoma State's 211 yards, and Dusty Hara was on the sideline for this one. Dusty, was it as dominant at field level as it was on television?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a butt kicking that I can't remember seeing from any program to another Power Four like this.
Yeah.
I mean, it was evident from the first snap all the way through. I mean, when you score 2 touchdowns on your first 3 plays of the game, you know it's going to be a long day. And I think the most surprising thing that we're seeing is the relentlessness from Oregon in the first 2 games of the season of they just never let off the gas.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it as it was happening. The only Power 4, Power 5 matchup I can remember, 2 teams in the Power 5 that was like this bad was that Oklahoma 77-0 over, I believe, Texas A&M, and that was in like 2003 was the last time I can remember a beatdown like this in the Power 4, Power 5 ranks. I mean, it was just, as you said, like, never seen anything like it. I mean, that must mean today's result was pretty surprising to you. I mean, obviously they were a big favorite, but, I mean, could you have ever predicted that they would win this large and by this much dominance?
By no means did I think that Oklahoma State was going to keep it close. I thought Oregon was going to cover fairly easily, but when you think of like 27.5 or 28.5 is what it opened at, and I think it closed at 27.5. I mean, that felt right. I did not think that Oklahoma State up front would be as overpowered as they were on both lines of scrimmage. I thought that they would hold it a little bit closer, and I thought it would be a better stalemate than Montana State. The reality of it was that it was the same up front as the Montana State game. And from the combo blocks to getting to the next level to picking up protections offensively and then shedding blocks, it was just as easy for Oregon's defensive line as it was just a week ago. That was the surprise to me. The way that the game unfolded after you saw that, yeah, you could see that one coming, but the result of, I mean, nobody thinks it's going to be 69-3. I mean, that's absurd. But the way that Oregon has put teams away and not played with their food like they did a year ago, it's impressive, and it's a full-scale change in the preparation and kind of the focus heading into each game.
Yeah, Dusty, what's the biggest difference with that you've noticed from last year to this year? Kind of, I guess, the vibe from last season to this season. Is it just a step up for Dan Lanning because he's gotten that culture just more instilled in his players now, year 4 with him there? I mean, is it the same hungry guys, or is there something new that they got to inject into the players this year in the offseason? It just seems like we're watching, obviously, the same team, but just a different one, if that makes sense.
I agree with you. I think that's fair to say in that, like, from the talent level, I mean, there's young guys that are playing, whether it's DeCorian Moore or Brandon Finney. I mean, those guys are special. They're young, they're raw, they're good. But I honestly think that the Rose Bowl was kind of that wake-up call to no matter how good you're playing, no matter what people on the outside think of you, you can still be humbled. And unless you have that precision and laser focus, it doesn't matter if you beat a team before. You know, and I think we saw at the beginning of the year last year, they were heavy favorites against Idaho. They were heavy favorites against Boise State, and those games were really close, and they were far too close for their liking. And I think that kind of hones everything in. It makes you not take anything for granted or any game for granted, or you're watching film and you're saying we have a significant talent gap in our favor here. And they have just kind of been businesslike in the approach to it. They look fresh, and I think something that's different than anything we've ever seen is just the wave of guys that they're willing to play and willing to play early. They didn't have that luxury last year, and we saw, especially with the offensive line, right? This year, they're mix and matching, moving guys into the offensive line rotation, but, Poncho is the steady hand at center, and he makes a huge difference to that.
I'm going to read apparently what Dan Lanning, his message to the team was. This comes from Dante Moore as far as what he said to the team before the Ducks' victory today. Coach Lanning said, "We're going to keep the foot on the neck and make sure you score as many points and try to break the scoreboard." We heard you with Coach after the game in that you basically asked him, like, was there something a little bit different about this? Like, what was happening this week? And he's like, oh, yeah, no, nothing different. Were you buying that at all?
I wish everybody could have seen the smile on his face.
I knew it. I knew it.
Because I think people know the wry smile Dan Lanning has. He just gave me a nope, and he had a ear-to-ear grin on his face. And look, I mean, it did mean more. When people want to make excuses as to why Oregon is successful, that's how you fire up Dan Lanning, because the funding, every program in the country has elite funding that is good, right? And it is what you do with that, right? And like Oklahoma State, we're not looking at a poor program by any stretch, right? T-Boone Pickens may be dead, but they still have resources. They have a great stadium. They have a great fan base. They're in a Power 4 conference. And Oregon has got resources, and they're very lucky to have them. But it's what you do with those resources after, right? Texas A&M is a great example of this. They have all the resources in the world, but it comes down to player buy-in, coach development. All of those things really matter. And to narrow it down to just saying Oregon's got money and Phil Knight has deep pockets, that's going to upset anybody within that program. And you saw it. You saw it from Lanning in his response to the Gundy comments, and then you saw it play out on the field today. They did not want to punt. They weren't going to punt. They were forced to punt, but that was when their third string was in there, and that was after the score. They put up 69 on the board.
Dusty, a little bit more of a procedural question. No Mekhi Hughes again in the first quarter. Is there a developing story that we don't know about, or is the Ducks running back room simply too talented and he's just not the most talented back in the room?
I mean, Noah Whittington looks like 2023 Noah Whittington. He looks like the guy that transferred from Western Kentucky and had that burst, had that spark. The knee injury against Colorado in 2023 took him a very long time to recover from. We're starting to see what he looks like again and how explosive. Jaden Lamar that guy will put his nose in and be just as happy to block as he is to run the ball. Not to say that Mekhi Hughes isn't, right? But he's played in the system. He's done it before. It's just hard to get on the field. And when those guys have explosive runs like they did early in the game, what are you going to turn away from the hot hand just because, we have a wealth of backs in that backfield? No, what you're going to do is you're going to continue to give those guys carries. It's not like they had a ton of carries, and then they got Mekhi Hughes in the game to play. I don't think it's anything Mekhi Hughes is doing wrong. I said that last week. I think that it says a lot about what the depth of that room is, and I don't think there's a developing story because those guys get amped for each other when they make plays. I think they have an understanding of what that room has talent-wise, and you just got to wait your turn and make the most of your opportunities when you get them.
Well, Dusty, I don't know what they have to improve, and they are playing another Power 5 opponent, actually their first conference game of the year next week, against a team that quite possibly might be worse than Oklahoma State. So what do the Ducks have to improve after this week? Again, it might be a tough question just because they played damn near a perfect game again, but in your eyes, what would you like to see improve on this team before Northwestern next week?
I mean, offensively, what can they? I don't know. Those coaches have such a hard task ahead of them, which is you beat up on 2 opponents. Through 2 games, you have 1,137 total yards of offense, and you're so balanced. Your passing game has 7 more yards than your running game. I don't like. What are you going to nitpick? That is a really tough one, and I know that, from the outside, we're sitting there looking at it being like, explosive plays, shots downfield. They took those, and they were efficient with those. They took the underneath stuff, and they executed at a really high level. I think you're going to be very nitpicky, and that's going to be the tough task for the coaches, but scheme is the big one. And like Dan Lanning said after Decorey Moore's block in the first game where he sprung Gary Bryant Jr., those coaches are going to look at it and say, yeah, you blocked the wrong guy, though. And there's going to be a lot of those instances that we didn't see as fans just because they were big plays and they were big gains. But it definitely is nitpicking because they're executing at a really high level.
All right, Dusty. Well, appreciate you, man. You can catch Dusty every Ducks game day in the pregame show. You can catch him on the sideline during Ducks game. Appreciate you jumping on for a little bit. And, I guess everybody will hear you bright and early next week, huh?
I'm not on the local pregame. And thankfully, I did Dirt a solid and told him, we're only doing 1 hour of pregame. You guys get an extended postgame next week because 5 a.m. is far too early to be having our pregame show. So Dirt will be on at 6 from 6 to 7, and then the network pregame will take over at 7 a.m. next week. It's going to be bright and early. It's a big nooner in Evanston, Illinois. I'm excited for it. It's a game on the lake in front of 15,000 people, which is going to be a weird transition from the environment that Austin Stadium has been the first 2 weeks.
Well, thank you for also having the common sense of having no sports Saturday next Saturday at 3 a.m. either. I know Jordan and I really appreciate that.
You got it. You guys can sleep in on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Overlord. We appreciate that.
I appreciate you guys. You guys are killing it, man. It's fun to listen to you guys on the way home.
Hey, always fun listening to and seeing you on TV, big time in us. It's always great. I'm like, hey, I know that guy. I pull that to my girlfriend, and then she hits me with that's nice.
Yeah, you're real cute.
Yeah.
You're not on TV. You're just seeing him in the background. I'm like, hey, that's my arm. There it is.
It's a good-looking arm, though, Dusty.
Yeah, sexy arm, buddy.
That's a quality arm.
A lot of curls.
All right, thanks, Dusty. We'll talk to you later, man.
See ya.
That was Dusty Hara. He is on the sideline for Ducks game day. He is the fan brand manager. He is on Ducks pregame, and he doesn't write the checks, nor does he sign the checks, but he has something to do with payroll around here in some capacities. So, but he's going to have a bright and early morning next week. Everybody will, as the Ducks are going to kick off at 9 a.m. against Northwestern in Chicago. Again, I repeat that, a 9 a.m. local time kickoff next week for the Oregon Ducks against Northwestern. Let's get right back into this game, though. Let's talk about what we saw from the offense, the defense, hell, special teams. How good were those punts? They did everything today.
They actually had to punt today. For the first time all season in the third quarter, I think?
Getting him some reps. I love it. That's a good coach right there. We get back into the action. Oregon Ducks with a 69-3. God, just every time I say that out loud, I just can't believe that's the real score.
It did happen, Joe.
69-3 over Oklahoma State. We'll be right back. But first, Jordan Schultz with a weather and traffic update.
Appreciate you, Joe. Still pretty heavy out of Eugene on I-5 northbound coming up to Portland. Most of that, of course, is centered around the Albany area, although I think it loosened up about 10 minutes or so since our last check. Still at least 20 minutes extra through the Albany area on I-5. A couple of Smokies as you make your way up that way as well. Right now, 73 in Portland. The Ducks postgame forecast calling for a low of 60. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and a high of 76.
Dick Hanna Dealerships presents the Postgame Scoreboard Show on the Fan Sports Network. Dick Hanna, believe in nice.
Whittington to the backfield. Snap, back to throw. Rolling to his left, sets up, going deep, and he's got him. Ja'Cory Moore with a catch. Inside on his feet at the 15. Are you kidding me? Touchdown!
Time for the second half. Oregon Ducks football on the Fan is brought to you by Coors Light, Dick Hanna Dealerships, Philbrook Law, Zoom Care, Bellagio's Pizza, Langdon Farms Golf Club, Wilsonville Toyota, Mountaintop Metal Roofing, Victor Rico's Mexican Food, Legends Casino Hotel, Mott's PDX, and Laurelhurst Market Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. The Dick Hanna Dealerships Post-Game Scoreboard Show on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app. Drives on. Here's your hosts, Joe Fisher and Jordan Schultz.
Dick Hanna Dealerships Post-Game Scoreboard Show. I am Joe Fisher III. Across the glass, Jordan Schultz. We roll on here on this post-game scoreboard show after the Ducks just put up a dominant victory, 69-3 over the Oklahoma State Cowboys, one of the more dominating Power 4, Power 5 games that I have ever seen in my lifetime. Jordan, I don't know about you, but I mean, I don't know. Usually you're seeing this when you're playing the Austin Peay's and the Bethune-Cookmans of the world, and not
the
when
Tarleton States.
Yes, not exactly when you are playing in Oklahoma State, who is in the Big 12 and who has what I thought they were going to do more of, get some points on the board offensively. I mean, Big 12 offenses, they like to score. My final score prediction was 51-24. They didn't get in the end zone once.
No, it was like an NCAA college football.
Yeah, what did Oklahoma that's what I was thinking. I was like, did they lose? Is there some beef here that we don't know about? Where, I mean, obviously we know where the beef came from this week, but
yeah.
I was like, my God, what did Oklahoma State do to these guys?
I mean, I don't think Oklahoma State themselves did anything. It was all the assistant coaches that head coach Mike Gundy fired after last year's mess of a 3-9 season.
Yeah, 9 staffers, I believe, including both their coordinators.
So it was, I mean, you're playing a team, if you're the Oregon Ducks, that's basically in rebuilding mode. We've been hearing that the Ducks aren't rebuilding, they're retooling, they're revamping, right? That's not what it is at Oklahoma State, and I think you heard Gundy try to clarify those comments a little bit that he made about Dan Lanning. If you want to believe him or not, he said that he was actually
trying to be complimentary.
Giving the Ducks props and being positive about their program. Like, sure, I think we heard the jealousy in there, and we get it. But the Ducks, at this point, man, it's a cliche take, but it literally looked like a video game out there today, scoring 69 points. Dante Moore had no challenges at the quarterback spot. And then we haven't really talked much about the defense. Those 2 pick sixes in a row, Joe, oh my goodness. Not even starters, by the way. Woodyard and Mixon, I believe, were the guys that got those. And it was... both times, Flores' throws were literally not even telegraphed, just he was not looking at the defender coming in and taking the ball away. And then that second one, I don't know if they just, because of that pick six, initially just basically scared the hell out of Flores and ruined his touch on the ball, but he was trying to throw over the top of a defender, and he couldn't. And I still remember trying to play quarterback learning NCAA football.
I'm still trying to learn how to play quarterback in NCAA football.
You end up looking like Flores, right? If you throw the ball and it's not the correct timing, in those seams, those guys, Mixon today, came in and absolutely blindly took that back to the house. So there's just so many things that you heard Jerry and Jorgie say that they don't even have the stats for 2 pick sixes in a game for Oregon ever happening in their history. There's just so many things to lean on. But like,
they got to pour through the archives for that one.
Yeah, exactly. No, they tried and they couldn't find any game where that's actually happened already.
Old Haas Flagburn from 1921.
Yeah, 1845, I think, is what Jorgie joked about it happening last.
And then Slick Fingers Williams got one right after him.
But we've been talking about it with Anthony Dusty to this point. Joe, we're seeing an Oregon team that I don't think that we've seen before. Kind of hoping, what that perfect Oregon team would look like that could go out, beat any opponent, be ready from the start of the game. Yes, they've been crappy teams that they're playing at Autzen Stadium. It's a home environment. It's easy for them, but these are the types of teams that you believe in to get to the Natty, to win in the college football playoff. And we're not seeing everything guaranteed yet, Joe, but we're seeing the beginnings. We're seeing the sprinklings of it.
Yes, it was a dominant performance on both sides of the ball. Just to go through some of the individual player stats here. Dante Moore, 16 of 21, 266 and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and most importantly, his jersey was kept clean. There were 0 sacks.
76% completion percentage. We love that.
For the rushing, leading attempts running the ball was Mekhi Hughes. He had 9 carries. Jay Harris had 7 carries, Jaden Lamar with 6, but Noah Winnington, your leading rusher, 4 attempts, 91 yards for 1 touchdown. Listen to this efficiency for Jaden Lamar, 6 rushing attempts, 87 yards for 14.5 a clip. He also got a touchdown. Mekhi Hughes, 9 carries for 30 yards, so not as a breakout game just yet, but again, leading the running back room in carries this week. DeCorian Moore, 1 carry for 25 and a touchdown.
Look at them spreading the love, man.
Which that end around, you saw the speed with DeCorian Moore, and then the savvy, which can be risky sometimes, trying to stick the ball out to get it over the pylon, but it worked out for this one. The savvy move by the true freshman DeCorian Moore.
That athleticism, baby.
Yes. Again, he showed that speed when he got around the end there. That was impressive. Jay Harris, 7 carries, 23 yards. Luke Moga, backup quarterback, getting in there. He had a carry for 22. Dier Hill Jr., 1 carry, 19 yards, and that went for a touchdown. Jordan Davison at the goal line, 3 carries, 6 yards, and 1 touchdown for him, the true freshman with 4 touchdowns through 2 games. And then on the receiving side, spreading the ball around. 16 different, that's 16 receptions to 10 different receivers, I believe. I'm counting here.
12 different guys that were thrown to.
Yes,
Crazy.
Yes. Gary Bryant Jr., 3 catches, 46 yards, 1 touchdown. Jeremiah McClellan, who I want to give a tip of the cap to because if you block, you get the rock, and that's what happened in the second quarter there. He was blocking his ass off downfield, and you'd love to see that from wide receivers, and then he immediately got the ball for a couple big plays.
Coming off of those 2 blocked punts last week, too.
Yes. Another freshman, DeCorian Moore. Oh, or is it
the same
freshman? Another freshman to another freshman. DeCorian Moore, 2 for 69, including that early touchdown that he had, the big 65-yarder. Malik Benson, 2 for 48, 1 touchdown. Kenyon Sadiq, 2 for 40. 0 touchdowns. Justice Lowe getting in there with a couple catches. Cooper Perry with a couple catches. I mean, just spreading the wealth around. Another example this week, you have put now on 2 displays, 2 game tapes of showing how deep the skill position is for this team.
Yeah, it's Anthony was making the point, like, you don't really know what to do. You're kind of just guessing as the defense if the attack is so balanced with the run and the pass. On top of that, if you've got 8 or 9 guys that you could throw to, the defense doesn't know who to key in on. Now, if I'm a defensive coordinator facing off against the Ducks, I'm probably going to try, to maybe double team DeCorian Moore, maybe shade Malik Benson or Gary Bryant Jr. away from the quarterback a little bit more during the game if I can. But you look at the rest of the cast, man, they've got literally 9 other guys that they feel comfortable throwing the rock to. And that just once again speaks to not only the explosiveness of this offense, but the theme that we've been hearing about the last couple of weeks, the comfort of this offense. They just look so smooth out there. Dante Moore, the experience, 2 camps under his belt as an Oregon quarterback. It just looks so much different than it did with Bo Nix and Dylan Gabriel in their first couple of games at Oregon.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Come back, maybe read some texts and some thoughts on the YouTube chat as well as the fan text line. You can share your thoughts, ask any questions, 503-864-6326. Again, that's 503-864-6326. This is the Dick Hanna Dealerships Postgame Scoreboard Show. We will be right back, but first, Jordan Schultz with a traffic and weather update.
Thank you very much, Joe. We are looking at a little bit of clearing out of Eugene, I-5 North, seeing not as much traffic in the immediate area around Eugene Metro, but you're starting to see some brake tapping past Coburg, and really the most amount of cars that you're going to see on the highway blocking your drive is near Albany, about 15 to 20 extra minutes, getting up towards there past the Jefferson area, and beware a couple Smokies in that area as well. Right now, 73 in downtown Portland. The Ducks postgame forecast calling for a low of 60 tomorrow, partly cloudy, and a high of 76.
There are no days off.
In the backfield, Lamar. Turn, hand, nope, going to throw. Off a little play action. Dante, end zone, open, catch, touchdown, Gary Bryant Jr.
Dick Hanna Dealerships presents the Postgame Scoreboard Show on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
This is the Dick Hanna Dealers Post-Game Scoreboard Show. I'm Joe Fisher III. Across the glass, Jordan Schultz. Coming back to this dominant Oregon Ducks victory, 69-3. A couple things from this, Jordan, is that a big theme of this week for Oregon was to double down. That was something that I had mentioned this morning when we did Sports Saturday. That was kind of the theme of this week. I'm sure they had a PowerPoint presentation about it. They maybe ate some double down sandwiches from KFC.
I hope
Who
so.
knows? One of the greatest American inventions of all time. But they did exactly that today. Like, in multiple facets of the game. It wasn't, they could have let up off the gas many times in this game. They could have only took one of those interceptions back to the house, but they decided to take two, and they doubled down, damn it. All right? But that's what this victory says to me, is that they doubled down. They were like, we're not just going to cover. We're going to double cover. We're not going to just cover by 28.5. We're going to cover by 56.5.
Well, they really were on it the whole game. Just defensively, I think they only allowed 4 or 5 first downs in the first half. I mean, once again, it's Oklahoma State. Their quarterback starting for the first time ever on the road in his college career.
More touchdowns for the Ducks than Oklahoma State had first downs.
Oh, see, that's good. And then obviously not allowing a first down, I think, until late in the third quarter. So just very, very hard for Oklahoma State to get anything going today. And yeah, the double down theme, I like that because not one pick six, but 2, and they literally looked better than they did last week. It's kind of shocking to me still. I just didn't expect Oregon to come out and put up a 70 burger today.
Hey, don't discredit 69, all right? It's one less than 70, but it is its own number.
Okay, a 69 burger. Okay,
nice.
let's a 69 burger.
Nice. 10 touchdowns for the Oregon Ducks, 9 first downs for Oklahoma State. I repeat, 10 touchdowns for Oregon, 9 first downs for Oklahoma State. Another thing about this game that made me extremely happy, fast starts, man. Go out, punch them in the mouth, have them respond right away. And you went and you didn't just punch him in the mouth. You hit him with a combo.
Mm-hmm.
you hit him with the jab, and then here comes the right hook, and here comes the left uppercut. Here comes a body shot. It was just relentless all game long. But again, the fast starts. I feel like that sometimes last year there's a couple games where it was, offense wasn't clicking right away. And then maybe late in the first quarter, second quarter, things would go a little bit more, and then they start running away within the second half.
Yeah.
Starting off right away, pedal to the metal and getting up to a big lead. It was 21-0 before we even blinked. It was 69-3. And then we blinked. It was just relentless for 3 quarters, really, of just points. 69 points in 3 quarters.
That's something that Oregon, you talk about them not getting out to a good start for games last season. Well, Joe, it was like a catch-22 because there were games that then they did get out to a good start, and then, middle of the year, they wouldn't start the second half well. They'd come out and they just, 2-3 series in a row. There were a couple of times last season that you're just wondering where the hell the Ducks went in the locker room. Thankfully, through these first 2 games, we've seen none of that. Hopefully, Dan Lanning has figured out how to coach a full 60-minute game. It's only season 4 for the guy.
Well, technically, it was only 45 minutes. They scored 0 in the fourth quarter. Where was the pedal to the metal there, Dan?
Dante Moore taking that big hit at the end of the first half. I was surprised that he even came out for the second half at all, but I think that was the pedal to the metal showing, oh, no, we're still going to put Dante out there for one more series.
You were on pace for 92.
Touchdown. Yeah.
You could have gone for it, Dan.
That is something that I don't think will ever happen in the lore of Oregon history, but damn, it wouldn't be cool one of these years to see a 100-point game.
Let's get a 90 burger up there. Hey, as I read that quote from Dante Moore earlier, they wanted to break the scoreboard, and they damn near tried today, 69-3 victory. We are going to take a break. Wanted to read this text line, and you can chime in on the text line here, the fan text line 503-864-6326. That's 503-864-6FAN. In my 26 years of life and as a Duck fan, hey, and they tell us that young people don't listen to the fan and don't listen to the radio anymore. 26 years old, this young chap is.
Yeah.
In my 26 years of life and as a Duck fan, I've never seen this many good players on one Oregon team. I cannot remember this much talent at every single position in my lifetime. The depth, man. It's the depth.
Which is
it's showing itself. Like I said, we now have 2 game sample size of this depth on display.
It's something, Joe, that we didn't think could be possible in this world of NIL deals and money being paid directly from schools over the table to players. Now you can't compete with some other schools that are giving players checks, but it seems like even the guys second on the depth chart could be starting in other places around college football. And I thought that was going away. But apparently, as we have seen in these first 2 games, that has been proven wrong. And the Ducks have one of the deepest rosters in college football, period.
Yes, it has been very impressive to see this talent so far. And I agree with that texter. I can't remember seeing this much talent so early and everybody making plays. It's one thing seeing players get in the game, but it's different seeing so many players make an impact on the game. And I feel like that's what's different about this Ducks team is that everybody who's getting the rock, everybody who's getting playing time is showing out right now. And while there are so many great players in this game, we got to choose one. Up next is the Mountaintop Metal Roofing Player of the Game. We do that next, but first, Jordan Schultz with another traffic and weather update.
Thank you, Joe. Still looking like it's okay out of Eugene, but when you get to Albany, I-5 northbound gets pretty heavy through there. An extra 10 or 15 minutes still trying to get up to the Jefferson area in Salem. So pack your patience if you're headed on I-5 northbound. Also a couple of Smokies right around the Albany area and then again towards Salem as well. 73 in Portland. The Ducks postgame forecast calling for a low of 60 tomorrow. Partly cloudy and a high of 76.
Isaac and Suk here with Ken and Donnie, the Advocates.
This is the Dick Hanna Post-Game Scoreboard Show on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app. Time now for the Mountaintop Metal Roofing Player of the Game.
Here's the give to Moore. Moore's going to go outside with a block. Great block, 10-5. Inside. Did he get there? Yes, touchdown.
Do it once, do it right. Mountaintop Metal Roofing.
It's time for the Mountaintop Metal Roofing Player of the Game. That clip that you just heard from Jerry Allen, that was Decorion Moore with his rushing touchdown that he had. He also had a receiving touchdown. His receiving stats, 2 catches for 69 yards and 1 touchdown, including that 65-yard bomb from Dante Moore, where he had to make a little shimmy and move, and I think even made 2 Oklahoma State players run into each other.
Yep.
Which is always classic. Always classic. And then on his rushing touchdown, his 1 carry of the day for 25 yards and a touchdown. He took an end around, showed you the speed that he has, and then just went right off to the left of the pylon. But the ball went over the right side of the pylon into the end zone, and it was reviewed. The play was upheld, and he is the only player with 2 touchdowns today, 1 rushing and receiving. But seeing the impact that he's had in so many freshmen in these first 2 games, as we talked about last segment, the depth, but he's showing that he's different and that he's special in these first 2 games.
Yeah, Decorion Moore is a gem. By far, 5-star recruit coming in as a freshman, was expected to be the impact wide receiver for the Ducks in week 1, not getting any of those big catches. People were wondering, well, why isn't Dante looking to him? Well, he answered those questions. More to more is going to be a thing all season. I said earlier in the post-game scoreboard show here on 105.1 The Fan, I am expecting to see a ton of athleticism from this kid. And we've heard a couple of times guys talking about freshman wide receivers that are usually flashy dudes that care about, being the star, being involved in the big touchdown catch. Decorion Moore loves to get upfield and block. He loves to do the football things, the other things that make a team successful. And I think that is probably more so a big reason why he's a gem than the crazy talent that he has. Combine these 2, man, Oregon has a target wide receiver that they've never had in their history of the program, and frankly, one that's excited to do the little things like blocking as he is. The sky's the limit, man. Like, I keep sounding super positive about this, but Joe, there's just not many negative takeaways that I have from these first couple of games for Oregon.
Yeah, as someone who played high school football as a wide receiver in a wing T offense, I had to be a wide receiver that loved how to block.
I bet you did, sir.
Let's just say the pass attempts were minimal during the high school days in the wing T offense.
Throw your body out there, damn it.
So I, for one, am a huge fan of receivers going downfield and blocking, sealing the edges, just driving guys 10, 15, 20 yards downfield. I'm like Anthony. I get all giddy. I get all happy inside. It's like the football nerd in me. But Decorion Moore, he had a fantastic game. I did want to give props though to Dante Moore. Like, when a team struggles and has a bad day, people look at the quarterback. When the team has a great day, I feel like you got to do the same. Look at the quarterback, and he was efficient, 16 of 21, 266 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had a few plays where he was just moving around in the pocket, had great feel of where the pressure was coming and where things were moving. And then he just did it at all 3 levels. He did it at the short, he did it at the intermediate, and he did it deep as well. I mean, he really pieced up the defense all day long. And I think this last week, he showed that he could do what was needed to get the team downfield at an efficient manner and score touchdowns. Again, this week, it was kind of all on display for Dante Moore. And I think that's what not just Duck fans, but the rest of the country wanted to see. Not just with Dante Moore, a lot of quarterbacks in their first week might have shown themselves like, hey, he could be good.
Yeah.
Now let's see if he can follow it up with a good performance or an even better performance. And Dante Moore did just that. Spread it around, very efficient, and did it at all 3 levels.
That's what happens when you put talent behind an offensive line, right? Dante Moore's arm, the ability to actually give him 3 or 4 seconds to throw the ball downfield, and on top of that, his tempo. if he has time, he will take it, but he knows, like on that flea flicker to Gary Bryant Jr., did you see how quickly he got that ball out after he got it back from the wide receiver? It was almost instantaneous. He's got such a good feel for the game, and I got to give a lot of props to the offensive line for that. And not just the starters, but man, they were putting Pickard in, they were putting Matthew Bedford in. It was 7-8 deep for the offensive line today for Oregon.
Yes, another deep performance by the Ducks. They win 69-3. Decorian Moore, our player of the game, Mountaintop Metal Roofing player of the game. Take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll take a look at the rest of the college football landscape real quick. Top 25 matchups, Big Ten matchups, and then what the heck happened up I-5 in Corvallis? My God. We get to all that next here on the Dick Hanna Dealers post-game scoreboard show. But first, Jordan Schultz with a traffic and weather update.
Thank you, Joe. We're seeing sometimes clearing out I-5 northbound from your drive out of Eugene up towards the Portland area. Don't see any slowing around the Eugene area on I-5 north. Most of that now centered around Albany up to Jefferson, at least still an extra 15 minutes through that part of town, trying to get up past Salem and Wilsonville. Also seeing a smoky I-5 northbound as you pass the Albany area. Right now, 73 in Portland. The Ducks postgame forecast calling for a low of 60. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, a high of 76.
Duck fans, game day is here, and you need
Hess Hain was going to be the starter. Injured last week for Oklahoma State. Here's a play-action throw. Hand sack to Ioni Tatum. And Flores had no chance.
Dick Hanna Dealerships presents the post-game scoreboard show on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
It's Dick Hanna Dealers post-game scoreboard show. Oregon Ducks get a big victory, 69-3, but plenty of other college football action going on today. Run through some of these top 25 matchups, Big Ten matchups. It's a lot of scores like you saw today with the Oregon Ducks.
Yeah.
Oregon obviously winning 69-3. Well, you got Utah right now beating Cal Poly 63-9. Things like that.
Shocking.
Miami beating Bethune-Cookman 35-3. South Carolina State and South Carolina tied at 0-0, but that's because the game's in a weather delay.
I don't think they started, did they?
I don't think they've even started. Yeah. LSU, though, only up 10-0 on Louisiana Tech at halftime. Keep an eye on that one. Here is one of our big upset watches, though, right now, going down in Starkville, Mississippi. 17-0 lead for Mississippi State over Arizona State right now.
Uh-oh.
That's right. Number 12, Arizona State, losing 17-0 against Mississippi State. Remember, last year, Arizona State got the victory against Mississippi State early in the season, 30-23. And now the tables have turned, and Mississippi State looking to upend Arizona State early on in this season, 17-0.
Yikes.
Just before halftime. That one on ESPN2 if you want to watch the rest of that one. Of course, once we're done, though. Don't do that.
Yeah, please wait until we finish.
Come on. Oklahoma, Michigan at a halftime right now, 14-0 lead for Oklahoma. The only top 25 ranked matchup this week. Alabama routing UL Monroe 35-0. Some other games that have gone final in the top 25. Ohio State covers the spread against Grambling. It was 55. They win 70-0. Penn State.
My God.
Penn State over Florida International, 34-0. There were a couple of fourth down attempts that Penn State actually got stopped on. So something to keep an eye on that. Maybe that the offense not as efficient as they would have liked, but Katron Allen with a big day, 144 yards and a touchdown for Penn State. Georgia, 28-6 over Austin Peay. Again, 28-6. Would have expected a bit more points out of Georgia. Texas, 38-7 over San Jose State. Arch Manning, apparently good again. Clemson, 27-16 against Troy. They were down 16-0 to Troy in this one. Again, they were down 16-0 to Troy, and they end up coming back winning 27-16. Illinois pulls away late against Duke, 45-19. We also had a big top 25 upset. South Florida, should I say Rashad's South Florida Bulls. He took them to cover this morning on Sports Saturday.
Yeah, he was in on them, yes.
And they win 18-16 against Florida in Florida. So there's your big top 25 upset. Florida State 77-3 over East Texas A&M. Iowa State and Iowa. Iowa State wins the rivalry matchup 16-13.
Not surprised there.
And I lied. We had another top 25 upset because the early slate of games had us going to overtime with Baylor and SMU. Baylor wins 48-45 against number 17 SMU. Texas A&M 44-22 over Utah State. Ole Miss escapes Kentucky 30-23. Tennessee puts up 72 against East Tennessee State, 17. Indiana 56-9 against Kennesaw State, and Texas Tech covers the spread against Kent State 62-14.
Early season chaos, my friend, in what was supposed to be a mostly boring week, I think.
Yep, exactly. That's what always happens, man. Boring week. You get a couple of those top 15 upsets there against unranked teams. But we do have to share what happened up in Corvallis. It was another loss for the Beavers. They fall 37-26, and I kid you not, it's all because they didn't have a long snapper today.
You said it was down to like their third string long snapper?
It was their third string long snapper.
Which at that point, it's not a regular long snapper, I don't think. It's just a guy that's throwing the ball under his legs.
Hey, you in section 4. You know how to snap? Yeah, it was that bad. They had multiple punts, field goals, extra points, special team snafus because they did not have a long snapper. The offense looked pretty good today for Oregon State, actually, all things considered, and they had a chance to win this game late. They actually did go up late in this game, but unfortunately let the lead go at the end. They were up 26-21, I believe, or maybe it was 26-25, something like that. And then Fresno State got a field goal to take a late lead, and then a pick six is what gave them the final score of 36-27. As Oregon State, they fall to 0-2. And if you heard Trent Bray's comments at halftime about special teams, he is one unhappy head coach right now. Can't imagine what that locker room is like.
Losing sleep.
And you're about to go into 2 straight ranked matchups, my friend. You're taking on Texas Tech next week, and then you'll be taking on Oregon the week after that. So it only gets more difficult for Oregon State going forward. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll jump back into this Oregon Ducks game, talk about what we saw, offense, defense, players we liked, what needs to improve. There's so much that needs to be improved, especially when you're going up against mighty Northwestern next.
Woo.
Hey. Got to treat every opponent with respect. I said that this morning, okay? Can't go back on my word. Take a break. We come back right to it on the Dick Hanna Dealers postgame scoreboard show. But first, a traffic and weather update by Jordan Schultz.
Thank you, Joe. Still seeing some drive times pretty heavy through the Albany area, at least an extra 10 or 15 minutes, I-5 northbound, trying to get out of Eugene up towards Portland. But once you pass there, it's actually pretty clear. Beware, though, getting to Salem, I do see a smoky on I-5 northbound, and then possibly another one right around the Wilsonville area. Right now, 73 in Portland. The Ducks postgame forecast calling for a low of 67. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and a high of 76.
Worried about market losses? If headlines are keeping you up at night, it's time to take control. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr. with Trade.
Three, 5, 4, 7.
Two receivers out to the right for Flores. Got to throw this time. That pressure comes. Well, that is picked again. Peyton Woodyard take it home. Pick 6. Touchdown, Oregon. Oh, my.
Dick Hanna Dealerships presents the Postgame Scoreboard Show on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
This is the Dick Hanna Dealers post-game scoreboard show. I'm Joe Fisher III. Across the glass, Jordan Schultz with me. Wrapping up this Ducks post-game scoreboard show and this Ducks victory, 69-3 over Oklahoma State. I'm just blown away, Jordan. My pregame prediction, I have Anthony's in front of me. I have Dirt's in front of me. Anthony, 48-14. Dirt, 45-17. I had 51-24. I don't know what you had, Jordan.
I mean, in my picks, I thought that they would cover the spread.
That's good enough.
35 maybe was the most I thought they'd win by.
And they doubles cover. I hope there's someone out there that tees this thing up. They're like, oh, I love the Ducks by 50 today. Ducks at least by 50.
Was there anybody out there? Ducks are scoring 69, baby.
I don't know, man. I really feel that the Ducks are going to cover 65 today.
It's a 69 burger. If anybody did that, like, I hope the sports books, you placed a bet and you're getting paid like a 10 spot or a 10 grand spot. Like, good God.
But I just think that normally in years past, against non-conference, unranked opponents that are in the Power 4, Power 5, like, even if you're favored this much, sure, you might cover, you might not, but it's usually pretty close. Like, it's around there. Like, the team that you're playing shows that they have some competence, some athletes, right? They're a Big 12 school. They should have some good players. They should have one or two impact players on offense able to generate points. I mean, Big 12, they put up points. That's what they do. No defense, points all day. Not one touchdown. And even when they got close, it was bend, don't break. It was really one big play that was sort of a broken play in itself, with the quarterback Flores booting off to the right, and then one of the wide receivers just finding himself open in the middle of the field. Again, just kind of a broken play that was unfortunate for Oregon, and someone lost track of their guy. But even in that moment, the Ducks didn't allow them to score a touchdown. And so here, again, I mean, Anthony thought 14, Dirt thought 17, I thought 24 points. That's the most impressive thing to me, is this defense held them to 0 touchdowns and only 3 points. This isn't Montana State. This isn't Sisters Mary's School for the Blind, all right? Like, this is...
Montana State scored at the end of the game, like a tutty.
Yeah, they got double digits.
They did.
Like, that is the most surprising thing to me about this game.
Yeah.
And one of the most impactful. I mean, obviously, we love the guys blocking downfield. We love all that. But, again, I think this defensive performance, just leveling up from the week before, and you hear it all the time, we just want to get better every week. You saw a team actively do that today.
And, yeah, I mean...
Against a way better opponent than last week.
Honestly, too, Oklahoma State's coach Mike Gundy showed some balls, I think, in the way, especially in the second quarter, that he was trying to call plays. I think it was right around the 35 or 36-yard line where they went for it on a 4th and 1 or a 4th and 2. And yeah, I mean, I get it. It's one thing, but it was a little annoying that they let Zane Flores just kind of get that 4th down conversion. I think he just ran it right up the middle. It wasn't a Eagles tush push, but it's like, guys, really, come on, you know what's happening here. I mean, like I said, that showed some balls by Gundy, and then that set up a play. I think Flores found a guy basically across the field in the middle while the play was kind of going off to the right. And at that point, you thought, maybe the Ducks defense is bending a little bit, but that's all they did. They bended. They did not break. And it only ended up in a field goal, thank goodness. But I guess that long drive maybe put a bad taste in my mouth. But you're talking about literally no touchdowns scored and keeping this team contained to a level that frankly embarrasses them. I mean, when your quarterback only throws for 67 yards, you knew it was a bad day. That offense did not move outside of that one drive at all.
Yeah, so the Ducks, as far as, what I said with Anthony, it's like, where is the improvement? What do you, or I believe it was Dusty I was asking about that, and he said, they'll look at the film and be like, hey, this was a great play, but there was this mistake.
You missed your block.
You need to do this, and that's what Dan said in his press conference last week, is like, we made mistakes, but mistakes that ended up turning out all right for us, where we were making them at 100 miles per hour, and so it actually ended up in our favor. So I would think that, if you want to improve on anything week over week, helping out with the run game defensively, would like to see that cleaned up a little bit more. They had a few runs that they ripped off in the middle for 5, 6 to 10 yards every now and then. So by the time you get to a team like Penn State, who has a stable of running backs also, you want to see that probably cleaned up. There were some procedural penalties today as well, guys not being set at the snap of the ball, things like that. But again, these guys are going to pour over the film, and the coaches are going to find any little part that they can improve, fundamentals, technical wise, everything. So that way this team somehow gets better week over week, and we see an even better performance against Northwestern. It'll be a tall task, but hey, as I said earlier in the show, Northwestern might possibly be worse than Oklahoma State.
Well, hopefully they commit no penalties against Northwestern. That's if you want to say, hey, Schulte, what are you looking for Oregon going into Northwestern next week? 0 penalties. I'm trying to find stuff that like they can improve on piece by piece, and that's one. Stop the procedural crap. I get it. Mistakes happen. But, man, week 7, week 8, week 9, guys, in the middle of things, those procedural penalties are going to hurt you so much more than they do now. So let's just get that out of their system.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's just play a little bit cleaner. As I said, shore up that run game between the tackles and just in general on the defensive side of the ball, and have Dante Moore show out again. You need to have him ready to go by the time you get to September 27th. And I know that coaches aren't looking ahead, but let's be honest, they are. They know what lies ahead. They know the matchups that they're going to have to face, and there is a huge one coming up in a few weeks against Penn State. So go to Northwestern, get better. Go learn what it's like to travel from a home. Also, that's a big process of traveling away from Eugene and what that week looks like for your team. Get ready for that, so that way you can get ready for a larger test down the road. You got Oregon State in a couple weeks. I don't know if you need any motivation for that. That's an interstate rival right up the road. So you have a couple opportunities here in back-to-back weeks against Northwestern, Oregon State to very much work on a lot of things and improve yourself even more, so that way you're playing at your best on September 27th against Penn State.
Speaking of Dante Moore, this is my warmish take on him. By the matchup against Penn State at College Station, I think Dante Moore will fully be engulfed in the Heisman conversation. We're going to see 2 ball-out games from him against Northwestern and Oregon State, and I think by that point, nobody around the nation will be able to ignore what he's doing and the talent that he's already got in his first year under center. We just, once again, have not seen a first-time quarterback for Oregon coming in like this in years.
There's something in the water in Eugene, man, because these quarterbacks down there are calm, cool, and collected. Seems like the last 4 that have come through the door and started for Oregon, Bo Nix, Dylan Gabriel, Justin Herbert, looks like those guys just have a heart rate beat per minute of like 60 when they're back there in the shotgun. And
if you could be
center.
more calm and cool and collected than Bo Nix or Dylan Gabriel, that's what we've seen Dante be. It's crazy.
Yes. So a great day for Oregon Ducks football, for the fans, the team, alumni, coaches, anybody affiliated with the Oregon Ducks. Big win, 69-3 over Oklahoma State today. They will travel to Chicago next week to take on Northwestern for their first conference game, and it's an early one, 9 a.m. Get your bloodies ready. Get your Bloody Marys, your mimosas, and your pancake breakfast ready, because it's going to be an early kickoff for the Oregon Ducks at 9 a.m. Jordan Schultz, any final thoughts here, bud?
Just excited to see where this Ducks season could go. I, coming into this year, wasn't thinking that the Oregon Ducks were a national title contender. Through 2 games, I think I'm changing my tune.
You put on performances like that against these opponents. You did what you're supposed to do, and then some. You doubled down. I thank everybody out there. Thank you, Anthony Newman, Dusty Hara. Hopefully we get Dirt Johnson next time. But I appreciate everybody listening. Get home safely if you're driving home from Eugene, or if you're driving home from wherever you watch the game. For Jordan Schultz, I am Joe Fisher. You have been listening to the Dick Hannon Dealers post-game scoreboard show, and we will catch you next week after Northwestern. Good night, everybody.
This has been the Dick Hanna post-game scoreboard show on the Fan Sports Network.